Well, hello. I'm back on US soil and I traveled to Turkey on Turkish Airlines where I had a really tight cabin baggage weight restriction and size restriction. So I was very limited to travel carry-on only and with weight and size, and I want to show you how I did it because I am really a chronic overpacker and I always want to be prepared for everything. And this trip, I may not have had exactly what I wanted, but I had what I needed and it actually went okay. There are a few things that I would tweak, but overall it was wonderful not to have to actually worry about a carriage type bag that I'm dragging behind me. I wasn't sure if I would be taking public transportation back to the airport or how that would work, since on my return flight I was going to be traveling solo. So it was important to me to be able to manage, my own luggage. And so I'm carrying a 40-liter backpack. It's the Vibe from PackSafe. And then I also have this tote bag, and it's either Travel On or PackSafe, and it's also, it can only be 4 kilograms. So this is under the size requirement, and so is my backpack. And then I also took with me my handy dandy travel pillow, which is actually different. I'm using the I'm using the bag for the cabo, but I chose to use another one. I'm sorry about that noise. I have a trench coat with me, and everything managed to stay under the weight requirements, except for on the way back where I was a little bit heavy, but I got lucky and they didn't weigh it. So anyway, let's literally unpack how I did this. One thing I didn't mention also is that I did use every available pocket. So both in my trench coat, and here's my portable charger and my AirPods, and there's some other things in this pocket that I needed to have access to on the flight. Since I had a window seat, I couldn't be, getting up and down constantly when I was on the flight. So I tried to use every available space that I had, and I've been up for almost 23 hours. So we'll probably commence with the unpacking video and kind of weighing in tomorrow, and probably have better lighting so I can actually show you more of what I brought with me. So thanks, and I'll talk to you soon. Hi there. Okay, so my name is Natalie, and I am a decorative and restoration artist, which means I have a really fun and very cool job. But I also love to travel, and I travel for my work and for various projects, and also for inspiration and for technique and for training with masters, and really enjoying my time and trying very hard not to overpack. And also it's been important to me because I have some health concerns and some food allergies. I have to take things on my trip that maybe other people don't have to take. And so what started this whole idea for this video was that I was traveling to Turkey with some friends, and but we had a very strict carry-on luggage requirement with Turkish Air. And I really, normally I don't mind checking a bag, but I really would prefer to be carry-on only all the time, because it seems like whenever I do check a bag, either the bag is damaged, it gets lost, or it gets delayed somehow. So I really thought long and hard and planned 2 to 3 months in advance, actually packing kind of what you see here, in order to meet the very, very minimal carry-on luggage not only the size requirements, but also the weight. So Turkish Air, your carry-on bag has to be 8 kilograms or less, which is like 17.65 pounds. And then you can take a purse or, you know, a personal bag, and that is 4 pounds-ish. No, excuse me, 4 kilograms. 4 kilograms. Okay, so which gives you a little bit more flexibility, but still, in all, I think that's like 25 pounds total. And for me, and having to take different things with me that I normally, you know, feel really tied to because of food allergies or having to be able to make, you know, my things for breakfast or my coffee or whatever it is, I was really worried, you know, very kind of stressed out about this trip. But the more I planned and the more I worked through everything I was working through, I was really able to, I think, come up with something that's really usable, and I'm gonna keep doing this. I don't know that I can make that strict weight requirement, but I don't see any reason going forward that I can't travel with the 2 bags that I showed you last night, period, going forward from here on out. And who knows, maybe I'll downsize even more, I don't know, or morph things, but the main reason I'm making the video is because I couldn't find anyone else who had similar issues that I have. You know, there's a lot of like minimalist kind of packers, and there's a lot of that type of, which is trending right now, you know, take nothing with you and just, you know, live and be free. And I wish I could do that, but there are just some things that I also like creature comforts. You know, there's certain things when I'm traveling, I like having my art supplies with me, but I really downsized. You know, this is, you know, a mini planner and my art supplies, which I actually used. I actually left a small watercolor with my host during the last half of the trip. So that was me being able to share my heart with them because they had opened their home to me. And you know, those are the things that are priceless and special because you're inspired in the moment. So I want to, as quickly as possible, go through what I took with me. So I talked about my backpack last night, and I had a tote bag that could be worn crossbody and could also have just been carried, which was also important to me because I was planning to use that tote bag as my everyday carry once I got on site. The only thing I will say is that I do wish that I had had some other type of tote bag that had a zipper on the top, just so that I could have had one extra bag. So let me just also tell you that I do have an iPad mini, and it's holding my phone up, propped up on the tote bag with my cell phone doing this filming. So I don't have a selfie stick or tripod or anything like that with me, so we're just gonna do the best we can here. Also, I wanna mention that part of this trip was going to be visiting religious sites, and also the culture in Turkey is a little bit different than the US, and I will talk about a few of those things and explain why I took those items with me. So, with no further ado, I'll talk about what was with me with my tote bag every day. One thing I had to carry with me was a scarf. This is one of those convertible scarves that can be worn as a jacket. It has a little hidden zipper pocket, and it can be worn many ways. It could have been a shawl, it could be a head covering, it could be a little jacket, you know, with sleeves. So it was really a workhorse, and I'm so glad I brought this with me. The only thing I will say about this is on the days that we visited mosques and that we were on foot, Sarah Murdoch taught me. She is a very well-known travel guide, and she used to work with Rick Steves, or maybe still does. So if she's watching, I apologize if I didn't get that right. But she taught me in her videos how to weigh your clothing. And so this was a pretty weighty item, actually probably half a pound, where I have a couple of other scarves that I brought that might have been more suitable than putting this in the tote bag because it just adds to the weight of the day, and especially if you're on foot. I mean, one day we walked more than 17,000 steps. So, you know, the bag gets heavier as you carry it during the day. So that's the one thing I would say about carrying this on the days that we did a tremendous amount of walking and had to be in mosques. Because I did have arm covering already, I wore a kimono type jacket. So I didn't necessarily need this since it was the convertible one. I could have taken a lighter scarf and used that as a head covering. I did, oh, there's stuff in this from this morning. I went down to breakfast. Okay, let's talk about these. Some people will just travel with a water bottle. I like to have a thermos that I can put coffee and tea in, and then one that is strictly water bottle only. And you know, these are only like 7 or 8 ounces, but it's enough that, you know, if you're thirsty, you can at least quench your thirst and it's okay. And for me, like Turkish coffee is very strong. Just like when I traveled in Europe, this is the perfect size for European coffee, even if you want to add cream, like for a latte or cappuccino, it's still the right size for that. So these always stay in my travel bags. I did have the a crossbody bag. This is for something else. Okay, so I did have this crossbody bag from Travelon. I only used it one time. I don't know that I would bring this with me again. It is the RFID, and it's also, you know, the slash proof or whatever, where it has that mesh and ripstop kind of nylon. And what I really didn't like about that in terms of a design flaw is that this stupid thing, it would come out of the thing and then it would be, you know, hanging down like a tail, and then you couldn't, and it was twisted, and it was just not my favorite. The reason I took it is because it was light, and I was afraid that I would need to use this like on the airplane. But then they were very strict about you couldn't wear this going in to the airplane. And I even wore a longer like tunic style shirt, which you probably saw in last night's video, but it still didn't cover it enough. And they were very strict about that at the entryway and making people put the things into their bags. So I wouldn't do this again because it wasn't necessary. Okay, housekeeping. All right, so I'm gonna keep going here. I'm not gonna unzip this because it's a jack-in-the-box. But this is the Cabo. I do have this neck pillow. I do like it, but for a 12-hour flight and for the weight restrictions involved, I had to bring a pillow with me that was more versatile. So what I brought with me was an Eddie Bauer down-filled travel pillow. So it wasn't a neck pillow that would keep my head from bobbing, but I sat in the A seat, and I typically sleep on my left side, so it was very easy for me to just, if I wanted to take a nap, and I did on the way over. So this was very comfortable, along with the pillow that they provide to kind of put my arms on, and this worked out great. But you really do have to stuff it to get it in here and to zip it up. But then this didn't count towards my weight, so I kind of just carried this on my arm, and I made it through their security checks and went on board without any issue. It's funny, they won't let you take a fanny pack, but they will let you take this, so whatever. Okay, going back to mosques and religious sites, but specifically mosques, one of the things that you're required to do is take your shoes off when you go into the mosque. So, and I don't have, they're in one of my bags, but I do. So in my day bag, I prepped myself every day by taking these really thin, like nylon sockies with me. So I took a pair with me for the day, and this. So I put my dirty shoes that I was wearing in this, put socks on, and went into the mosque. I did decide to wear my sandals that particular day because I'd been wearing my tennis shoe style walking shoes, and my feet were just getting really hot at the end of the day, and I just wanted to have a change. You know, in retrospect, I don't know, like it was hard to balance with a bag and trying to put socks on outside of the mosque because everybody else was just taking their shoes off and going in. But I I don't want to, that's like not wearing socks when you go through airport security. Like, I don't want to step where everybody else is stepping. I mean, that's just weird to me. So, and I mean, if somebody has foot fungus or whatever, anyway, this weighs nothing. This weighs 0.2 ounces. So it weighed absolutely nothing. And I could carry that with a pair of socks to go into the mosque every day, or that we did those types of tours. Okay, let me get back on track. So my 311's liquids bag, actually there's kind of a mix of stuff in here right now. I had a thought at the last minute. This is absorbent material that I get in some of my, I order essential oils, and this sometimes will come in the packaging inside of a zipper bag to help absorb if there's a spill. And at the last minute, I added this to my bag, and I was so happy I did, because my entire bottle of rose water spray, which I missed tremendously, leaked. So thankfully, you know, this, it didn't leak on any of my things. It didn't leak inside of the Ziploc or zipper bag. And actually it absorbed everything. So I had basically a natural deodorizer then with the rose water. Hairbrush. I always use a bag over my hairbrush to keep hair out of my bag. And also if you drop it on the floor or whatever, it's clean. Toothbrush. I could have taken a folding travel toothbrush, which I actually did on the plane. But this is the, what is the brand? Sonicare? Philips? Whatever. Yeah, little travel ones that they make now, and I love it. It is rechargeable, so easy enough to recharge if the battery runs low. And anyway, yeah, I loved it. I was glad I took it because my teeth just felt cleaner. And again, Creature Comforts, this was worth it. It's probably only, I don't know, 1/3 of an ounce. So to me, that was worth taking. I don't know if I mentioned this, umbrella. It was the smallest and lightest umbrella that I could find. It's made by Totes, and it slipped on the side of my tote bag every day along with this small water bottle, and worked perfectly. That will go there. Okay, I couldn't figure out what I was going to bring my jewelry in that was safe and that was also, meaning it wouldn't crush it or, you know, bend or whatever. I found these literally at the Dollar Tree. I bought 2 of them because I was going to use one for my hair implements as well, but didn't use that. But anyway, this allowed me just to take some small things with me, just like basically 3 earrings, 3 necklaces. I bought this one, the Eagle Eye, when I was in Turkey. And I did switch out my jewelry regularly, and I felt good about myself, you know, my outfit and being well put together. So, and this weighs next to nothing. So the weight on this is now just the jewelry that's inside of it. Luggage scale. I like this one because it has an on-off switch as well as a power switch. The nice thing about that is it won't turn on in your bag and then drain the battery by the time you get to your destination, because then you'd have to buy new batteries for it. And then I also have a replacement battery for this, because this is a CR2032. It's one of those disc batteries. So I keep one of these in my toiletry kit, the little battery. Socks, underwear, underpinnings went in this bag. This was pajamas and a robe. And again, because I was traveling with friends and we were going to share a room, and it's a married couple and me, I wanted to make sure I had a robe with me, and also because I wasn't sure what the sleeping arrangements and bathroom arrangements would be at his family home when we visited Ankara. So I made sure I was respectful, bringing a robe with me. And excuse me, this bag, this was my solid toiletries bag, like razor and Q-tips. I do have a couple of face masks in here and some under eye patches. International adapter and charger. I have found what works for me. Some people will, you know, they want to travel only with this style, the convertible style. And this does work great in some cases. I found this summer when I was in Italy that this actually did not work all the time in some of the plugins. And I noticed at grocery stores they were selling, I mean, everywhere I went, they sold these other kind of adapters because some of them fit more deeply into the wall, which is like what this one is, whereas some of them were not quite as deep. I don't know if you can tell the difference. Well, maybe there isn't the difference in this one. Well, except for the way this fits. What I took with me was a converter. Yeah, converts the 220, 240 to 110. And I found that my cell phone chargers worked better that way. That was my experience. Someone may argue with me on that. And the way I used it was I brought the adapter, because this, I think, works in France and Italy. They're bigger. I don't know if you can tell. They're a little, well, you can't. They're wider. So I made sure that I had both the wide and the thin ones, as well as the long and the short. And that's what worked. The way that I stored this in the bag was I plugged this into this one so that it was more compact. And another valuable thing I brought with me was the converter, the 3 to 2 converter for US. I don't know if you can see that. So it's a 3 to 2 converter. I also brought this traveling power strip. Super great. And I was able to charge everything that I needed and no problem whatsoever. And all of this fit nicely in a small bag. And I mean, like many people say, it would have saved on weight for me if I would have left the converter at home. But actually it was my watch, my Apple Watch with just the adapter would not charge. So having that converter was what enabled me to charge my Apple Watch. I also have a power bank. I had a few cutlery and other implements with me. On my way back to the United States, they confiscated everything that I had that was the titanium. I had a spork, camping spork. They took it because you're not allowed to have forks when you're, I guess, going from Turkey back into the United States. She said that it was the US rule. I don't know that that is the case, but they confiscated my titanium spork, and which I was very disappointed in because you know what the cost is of those. And then they also confiscated a little aluminum set of a little fork and a knife that's in a credit card. And again, the fork had pokey ends, and she was saying that the US would not allow that. So what I came back with was a spoon, my chopsticks, my coffee stir thing, and another spoon. That's what I was able. Oh, surprisingly, I was allowed to have a corkscrew. Now, how is that? I don't know, because I mean, I guess if I really wanted to, I could cause some damage with a corkscrew, but anyway, I took implements with me. They confiscated some of them. I was very sad. This is my travel kettle. It is for international. It is 240. Has the little power cord inside. It's 240. Heats up water in about 2 minutes. And I can make broth, bone broth with if I want. Now, traveling to France, you're not allowed to bring beef in the country. So what I normally do is I just travel with the chicken bone broth, and I don't get flagged or pulled aside or anything for that. You would not bring pork products into a Muslim country. And then also making sure that if you are bringing any kind of food, even if it's just snacks that you're going to consume, make sure that there isn't some type of issue with beef or pork or whatever, or what have you, going into that country, because it could be taken away from you. I already showed you my art supplies and my business supplies. This little bag, it's actually, it's for kids. This is actually for a diaper, like a dirty diaper. But on my last day, or my last night there, I couldn't do laundry with it drying properly, so I just, you know, put my dirty socks in here and my undies, and I can wash this when I get home, and it's lined in a waterproof fabric so it doesn't stink up your luggage. Everybody loves those cute laundry bags that fold out and you can hang them on a door or whatever, and they're so useful. The problem is if you're traveling for more than maybe 2 days, your luggage starts smelling like your dirty clothes. So what I like to use is something like this and something like this. So all of my dirty clothes went into, this is like 2 days, 2.5 days worth of dirty clothes. That went in here as I was preparing to come home because I knew I wasn't gonna be able to do laundry and have everything dry quickly enough. This held my food items, and I do like MCT oil and a bulletproof coffee creamer, and I do that and I just make my own coffee in the morning, and collagen, that was the other thing. And collagen is really sticky and can be yucky. I use this little thing, it folds up within itself and is a great little mixer. And the great thing too about this for travel is that even if it goes up against something and tries to engage, if it's closed, it won't turn on, so you won't run your battery down. And that was, again, a creature comfort that I was willing to take up, spend some weight on. These were all my supplements. Now it's basically empty containers. All 9 clothing items, well, sorry, a pair of pants, a long sleeve top, and my denim jacket were my travel clothes. Every day that I traveled, that's what I wore. So then the other 6 items lived in this bag, and I also still have a few of my scarves left here. This little bag was specific, I found this actually at Target, and it's specifically to be able to take with you on the airplane. And so it has like a sleep mask in it. It has some of the other things that I like to travel with and have with me on the airplane. I may do a video of that as well. This is a water filter system. These are inexpensive, you can get them everywhere. Actually, I got this at Walmart. It's wonderful, easy to travel with. And when you're traveling to a country that you know, may have sketchy water, and in this case, there are fountains all over Istanbul, and people actually go and fill large-sized containers with water. Shop vendors and vegetable markets will use them to wash things and clean things, but it's not. They say don't drink it. You know, maybe if you're gonna boil it, okay, but still that's a little sketch. So I just travel with this little thing. I fill this with water, I attach this, and I turn it upside down, and pretty much right away I have fresh water. The only trick is make sure that your filling container is the amount of water you pour into this. If you fill this up and start filling your water container, you have to, you know, as soon as it's full, you just take this and remove it. It does have a little cap on it, which is nice, but I just find making sure I'm pouring the right amount of water in, there's less chance of me having an accident. It does have a straw, so you could drink with that if you wanted, if you're the only person. I was traveling with friends, and again, I don't think I've ever used the straw. I guess I always keep it kind of together in case I'd ever need to. So, all right, let's see where we are now. I did take a belt. This does not have metal on it at all, so it's a leather belt, but it doesn't really have any metal that would cause a problem in security. I took a travel towel because I was staying at the home of a friend's elderly mom. I wasn't sure, I didn't want to leave laundry for them to do. As it turns out, I only used this once. They did provide towels for me, and I felt like I would be rude if I didn't use them. So I didn't necessarily need this, but it was nice to have it, you know, when I did have it and did use it. This is how I took my vitamins every day, because what I did is I set myself up the night before. I put my little vitamins in the lid of this, put the cap on it, and then set this aside with my greens juice so that I was kind of ready to go in the morning. Made, you know, getting ready and going sightseeing with friends work out much better because I was more efficient. I did take this trench coat. I'll tell you more about that. The denim jacket. We'll talk about these. This is my pair of sandals. This is a pair of slippers. So again, where I was traveling, in Turkey, when you go to someone's home, it's proper for you to take your shoes off in the entryway, like many Asian countries also do this, and then put on a pair of slippers. So I brought a pair of clean slippers with me, and they did have some that I could have worn, but I guess with foot sizes all being different, knowing that ahead of time, I just thought this will make sense. And then if I needed a third pair of shoes in a pinch, I could have used these because these are for outside as well, but I just made sure they were very clean and had not been used outside when I went to their home. Travel hangers. These have been invaluable for me. They're aluminum. They don't weigh, they weigh next to nothing. I think they're a couple of like 0.3 ounces or something a piece. Don't weigh very much at all. They do have these little notches in them, so if you have a camisole or tank top, things don't slide off. I don't have them right now. I'm not sure where I put them, but they're in one of these little bags. I have some hooks that have a clip on them, and that's what I use to dry underwear and socks. I did take these like small handkerchiefs with me. I thought I actually may leave them behind or give them as gifts. But what I also like to do is, I can't remember what this is. It's Japanese style of tying something, but this is what I do. So if I wanted to have like a little bag inside of my tote, but I didn't have a bag because I'm so bare bones, you can actually tie it like this, and then the items that you want to have in your bag can kind of be compartmentalized and sorted that way, so to speak. And the last thing, before I talk to you quickly about my purse, is I did take a handmade, this is a sleep sack, and it's actually made from a sari, and you may be able to find this online, but I bought this from a private vendor. And these are sleep sacks, so basically like a sleeping bag liner that's made from recycled sari material. And I took this with me again because I was staying with my friend's mom, and I didn't want to make extra work for her, but again, they did provide me with a nice little bed and in a tiny little room, and I had just my own little space. So I didn't have to use this, so this is something maybe I didn't have to bring with me, but I was glad I did in the event that I had to sleep on the floor or I had to sleep, on a couch somewhere. I didn't want to be a burden to anyone by not having things with me that would allow me to be comfortable, but also not put this 88-year-old little old lady out having to clean up after me after I left. So last, this is pack safe. I added this strap to it, and when I was going through the airport in Turkey, literally when I was leaving the country yesterday, I had to show my passport 7 times. Every little checkpoint, I had to show my passport. So finally what I did, I had my backpack on, had my crossbody on, and then over my arm, I had my coat, I had my Kabu travel pillow, and I had this. And this was so that at each checkpoint, I could hold it, unzip it, and get my passport out. But then it would remain attached to my body. And I just felt really comfortable about that. It worked really well. And I used this when I was in France and Italy this past summer. So, well, I guess we're technically still in summer, but my last trip to Europe, I used this and it worked well, and so I'm using it again. Okay, so I think that's it. If you have questions,
make notes in the comments. And thank you so much for watching, and have a great day, and I'll talk to you soon. And I might continue making more of these. This was really fun. So yeah, let me know your thoughts. Bye. Take care.